morning, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Habsolutely coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And right across from the Meteor Crater, we call it over here. And I have my cohorts, my co-host, John Filion.
Il fait chaud aujourd'hui, mon ami.
Mon ami, mon ami. And, of course, the famous Drew Deek, superstar hero over here, has honored us with his presence in the studio today. And we're hearing Meatloaf going, we're going to go all the way tonight. We're going to go all the way. But, Habs are going all the way this year.
Of course they are.
You disagreeing with me, anybody?
We are definitely going all the way.
We're going all the way. We're taking it to the limit, baby. That's the way it goes when you're a Habs fan and you're in Habs land and you are in Habs territory right now in Niagara Falls, Canada. So great to have you in the studio, Drew.
Good to be back, guys. It's been a while. So
is your microphone on?
How did
I hope so.
how did the Baywatch tryout?
know.
How did the Baywatch tryout go?
Okay.
David Hasselhoff, who I did see in New York City
Yep,
5
you're good.
years ago, by the way.
The Hoff?
He gave me a thumbs up. So hey, I'll take it.
You met the Hoff?
I didn't actually. I wanted to approach him, but I was like, nah, he's talking with some lady, and
Well, all I can
but I got
say
pictures
is
of him like a creep, so that was good.
I can say sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can say. If we were in Germany, I'd be saying it in German.
Deutschland.
He's a big name in Germany, right, John? You know,
Recording
music.
star in Germany.
Here, we got a sumo wrestler out here, the big Kamala. Look at the sumo.
That's the thing about being in the studio. There's a show outside and inside.
And inside.
Sushi.
And believe me, the better show is inside.
Oh, come on.
And, oh yeah,
You know
the
that.
Habs. So listen, we didn't have a heck of a lot this week. All the guys are filtering into Montreal, which is good. We talked about that last week, and they're starting to get their act together here because this weekend is the Prospects games, right?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And you're going for sure. Are you
Yes.
still going?
Not gonna make
You
it.
can't make it. John can't make it.
We're gonna miss Johnny there.
Yeah, and
but in
I'm not
spirit,
going.
He will be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're
well,
gonna-
I would have loved to have been in Montreal. I mean, the temperature will be a little warm. It'll be 80 degrees, I think.
Just
But
think it'll be like the playoffs when we get back there. The weather will be warm.
good point. Good point. Good point.
So we're gonna miss you there. We're gonna miss you, but we'll be doing. I'm trying to rope in Shane Gamal from the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro to do a show, but he's working with Sick Podcast this weekend, so we're trying to get him in there for an in-person show with myself. But I'll be doing at least a little something on my channel this weekend. I'm going to both games with my sister and family, and
Well, hopefully you'll meet some Habs there.
we may not, but we're gonna be.
You just might. I kind of think you will.
I'm gonna try.
I think the opportunity is there, and it should be exciting.
Well, we can't wait for reports from Bell Center about the Prospects games, and of course, we will be talking about it next Wednesday on the Habsolutely
You want to
show.
go see Owen? Say, hey, remember me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friend of the
Definitely,
show.
for
Friend of
sure.
Habsolutely Owen
Remember, I
Beck.
came in with Santa Claus. That's what you got to tell Owen Beck. Remember in St. Catharines, I came in with Santa Claus.
And then he'll go, oh, yeah.
I'll show him a
Yeah,
picture.
those
He'll be
two
like, "Oh, I
old
remember those
perverts.
You guys are okay.
Are those guys alive still?
Yeah, they lived for the last 2 years. Wow,
You guys made it.
they look like they were on their deathbeds. Those two clowns.
You made it through.
We
should be
made it
proud.
through, and tell him that we love him, and we're still following him, and we want him to be one of the best Habs
We're
players
hoping
ever.
he makes it to the lineup this year.
Yeah, well, that's it. His name is in the locker. I told you that plaque
Yeah.
is up there. So
Yeah.
So there
he'll
could be-
He'll be there along with several others that are of interest for the Canadiens.
okay, we're gonna start the show off, of course, with Johnny
Trivia.
Habs trivia.
Let's do it.
Let's see if young Drew Deeks, who has got the last 4 out of 5, can nail this one cold. Okay, so you've heard of the Bill Masterson Trophy, right?
Mais oui.
I was
Mais
It's
oui,
called
certainement.
Masterton.
Okay, Bill Masterson Trophy is awarded to the NHL player that exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the game of hockey.
Hacky.
But Bill Masterson, in case you younger guys don't know who he was a player for the Minnesota North Stars, playing a game against the Oakland
Who?
Seals.
Minnesota who?
North Stars.
No, they're wild. They're called Minnesota
Yeah,
Wild, right?
we're going back. This
You lived through-
trophy started in 1967-68. So Bill Masterson skating down the ice. He got a stick caught in his skates. He was falling forward. And then he got a check from another guy. He fell backwards, smashed his head on the ice. Was unconscious. Went to the hospital and died a couple days later from the injuries. It was the only hockey incident where somebody had died. And so they named a trophy after him, and it was named the Bill Masterson Trophy. And it was a sad time. I remember it well myself. Remember when this all happened, and it was a terrible crack on the ice. It sounded like a coconut hitting the ice. Or something.
I take it he did not wear a helmet.
They didn't wear helmets in those days. That's right, John. Very good point you just made, right? Because today we're so used to seeing them with helmets and shields and everything else, but in those days they didn't. I don't know.
And was that one of the reasons why helmets became
Definitely.
popular as well as mandatory?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because after that, some players started wearing helmets. And you remember the old ones like Ted Green used to wear, right?
And every time a player got injured, got a head injury, they would definitely put on a helmet, like a Red Kelly.
Yes. Now, the first player to win the Bill Masterson Trophy, of course, was a Montreal Canadian.
Mais oui.
Right? Back in 67-68. Who was that Montreal Canadian that won that first Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy?
So the trophy was given to what was like the premise?
A player that exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the game.
I can tell you the last Montreal.
I'll give you the four.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Number 1, Bobby Rousseau.
Love Bobby Russo.
Number 2,
15.
Yeah. Number 2, Claude Provo.
Claude Provo, an amazing player as well for the Habs.
Number 3, J.C. Tremblay.
J.C. Tremblay, I think maybe a lot of people say Doug Harvey was the best Montreal defenseman. But nobody, textbook defense. Like what a defenseman did was J.C. Tremblay.
And number 4, Ralph Backstrom.
Ralph Backstrom, number 6.
So there's 4 players, and I think any one of them could have won it that year, but only one of them did.
Backstrom was third line center. Was Backstrom still with the Habs then?
Yes.
Okay.
All these players were with the Habs in that year.
J.C. Tremblay, I
used to love watching J.C. Tremblay play.
Me too.
Just the best, the way he would bring.
You were 20 years from being born. You must have watched
the puck
reels
from behind the
newsreels.
net. He was a stay-at-home defenseman, but did everything perfect. Like the puck, he never let the puck go.
No, he was fantastic. All-star.
Claude Provo, J.C. Tremblay, Bobby Russo,
Ralph Backstrom.
So I'm going to narrow it down to 2: Claude Provo, J.C. Tremblay. That's tough because Claude Provo sometimes he really had a reputation of being just a solid person on the ice. I'm going to go J.C. Tremblay.
Okay.
Backstrom.
And you're going to go Ralph Backstrom? Okay, the correct answer is Claude Provo.
There you go.
Yeah,
And you had it down to 2.
Yeah, I knew it was there.
And this is a tough one because, you're going back in Habs history. I would have never got this, by the way. I would have never got this in a million years. I would have guessed probably like you, J.C. Tremblay. I would have probably guessed only because
I was thinking Provo, but then it was like J.C. Tremblay is played so many minutes as well. Provo's playing, on a line, and Tremblay's playing defense. So he's doing he's doing defense for killing penalties as well as probably doing defense for power plays. So he used to see a lot of ice.
And like I said, any one of these 4 players could be the right answer because that's the quality of these players on that team.
And this is the 67-68 season, which the Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, because Toronto won it 66-67.
Right.
And that was the last time they won it. And then Montreal came back the next year and won it. Yeah, so.
Right.
But
the
there you go.
The Leafs haven't won the Stanley Cup since 66-67.
Well, let me think. Let me think here.
Correct.
No.
That's a long time, isn't it, to not win a Stanley Cup?
Well, they got a real good shot this year, I'm going to say, because they just picked up Max Pacioretty.
They're about to.
Yeah, and if they pick him up, it's over. Let's face it. It's over. He's gonna.
It's over for the Leafs, yeah.
Well, yeah, especially come April, because I call him Max Pacioretty.
Is he taking over for John Tavares?
I don't know what the hell they're doing picking this guy up, but I'm so glad they're doing it because Montreal won't be tempted to.
Is he a goaltender now? Because the Leafs need a goalie, right?
He might as well be.
John,
might as well
God
be.
love you.
And just back to the Masterson trophy before we make fun of Max.
And we will.
Montreal's won the trophy 5 times by 5 different players, of course. And they were Claude Provo, number 1, Henry Richard, Serge Savard, Saku Koivu, and
Your boy.
the aforementioned Max Pacioretty.
And Carey
Wow.
Price.
I was going to say
Oh, did he win
CP.
Carey Price is the most recent winner of that trophy. That's what I was going to tell you.
When?
In 2022.
He's not listed in any of the books that I read.
Well, you should have looked harder because he's there.
Yeah?
And you're
Well,
biased anyway, so it's
Well, I can't believe that he won it. But if you say he did and you got it on your computer, then it's got to be true.
it's on the interweb.
CP.
The dark web? You got to really look
it's
for
light.
it.
It's a bright web.
But he wasn't listed where I got my information. But anyway, if he won it, congratulations to Carey Price because he won a lot of
he
different
did.
trophies. He won a lot of different trophies.
And
I will give him
amazing,
that.
too, that Pocket Rocket won it, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, because it's really at the end of his career, I would think, too.
Yeah, because he won it after Provo, so it would probably been after that year. So, yeah, that was coming to the close of his career. Exactly, John.
Before we start making fun of Max, which we will,
Well,
I just thought we'd mention it is the 23rd anniversary of September 11th, and I got my shirt on today, of course. It's not a happy note to get it to, but I think it's just important to honor.
it's not a happy note for sure.
It's definitely not a happy note. But I got this T-shirt from the September 11th Memorial in New York City in 2018, and this bracelet too, actually. And it's a pretty compelling visit to New York. I know I'm throwing you a curveball.
Well, welcome to Your City, Your Voice. We're going to do a short Your City, Your Voice in the middle of Habsolutely.
I don't think I have to ask permission to remember 9/11, Paul. But thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Your City, Your Voice.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's 23 years ago. I was 14 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm sure you guys do too. And so the people that served and sacrificed that day, not knowing they were going to be sacrificing their lives, you know, it's a day that I like to remember. It's something that living through it as a young person was pretty scary at first, and then you know, you realize that how many more positive stories of heroes that came out of it. So I just want to honor the folks that served on that day.
It was a pretty crazy day, obviously.
The world stopped, and there's 2 times in my life that I feel like the world stopped. It was 9/11 and the pandemic, where it felt like everything just was on pause for a day, or in the case of COVID, months or years. But
Good thing you weren't around for the Kennedy assassination.
That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say
that kind of news. Yeah,
it was.
I was
it was. It was one.
I was a little younger, but
I was
close to it.
Not quite around. My dad and you guys were around.
For me, it was one evening in Cancun, and the world kind of stopped. But
What are you talking about now?
Anyway,
we don't know.
back to 9/11.
But 9/11, yeah. Where were you? Okay, let's do this.
A couple of hockey players
Where were you?
were on a plane, I believe.
And they had to land early.
Ace Bailey was on the plane that went into the South Tower. Ace Bailey of the Toronto Maple Leafs died.
So now that's Ace Bailey's son.
Yeah,
the Ace Bailey that we think of.
Yeah.
Who, like, when you talk about Bill Masterson, I mean, Ace Bailey took a real shot by who was the guy from Boston, the Boston defenseman that knocked him over, and they actually had a memorial game for Ace Bailey, which became the All-Star game in the National Hockey League.
There you go. And his son was on the plane.
And his son was on the plane.
Oh, I never knew that.
And one other guy, I think, from hockey.
I'm not sure.
And
who
I
the
think,
other one was
and
right off the top of my
they
head.
might have been Westfall. I'm not sure. Might have been a guy from Boston at one point. But they
could have been
both
Eddie
died,
Westfall.
I believe. Correct?
Yeah, well, and I just it popped up this morning on my feed too that Mark Messier was wearing a fire department helmet on the ice with his New York Ranger jersey just after it happened. I mean, like, President Bush threw out the first pitch at the Yankees game, all that sort of stuff. It's a time. It's sad to think that that's what brings people together, is the worst of tragedies, but it did bring us together with the states. We had the United We Stand hats and shirts going around for a while there, but in the end, I mean, 23 years ago, it seems like yesterday still, and it's obviously a somber occasion for the families that lost loved ones. 2,900 plus lives lost, but
I think
what?
Like 4,000 people died, I believe, right?
Well, it was just under 3,000 technically. And there's still people suffering from inhaling the dust.
You
and
had
the
a
smoke
lot
and
of
all that
first
stuff,
responders get very ill, and
Yes,
also
some of them still
and
are.
also give their life.
Yeah. So just wanted to throw that out there. I just it means a lot to me in my heart. It kind of it was a moment in life that certainly we'll never forget. So
Yeah, I was watching it live.
yeah,
I watched it live.
I was watching it on a computer.
I was
live.
I was
Internet was
listening
still
to.
new,
I was
man.
listening to Howard Stern, like I usually
I
do
watched.
every
I
morning.
rewatched his show.
And I heard on his show that a plane had crashed into the North Tower, one of the towers,
It
anyway.
was North Tower, yeah.
And I said to Liz, throw the TV on. Let's see what's going on with this. A plane crashed into the thing. And then I said, well, that wasn't no small airplane. And then I'm watching it live, and then this plane comes howling around the corner, bang, right into the other
So
tower.
you saw the second one.
And
live.
I go, this is terrorism. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. There's not even a question in my mind what this is.
So yeah.
These big planes just don't do that, and that's restricted airspace. And then, of course, the rest is history. I saw them all come down, Building 7 come down the whole shot.
Yeah.
And, it was pretty dramatic. I think Kennedy affected me more.
Well, yeah. I mean, like that was.
Well,
when
I mean, we were very young when Kennedy
Yeah,
passed,
yeah.
right?
You're
I
a lot
mean,
more impressionable. than
that
you
was
were.
my actual 10th birthday. when
Yeah,
Kennedy
I would have
actually
been
was
in
assassinated.
You-
I would have been 11.
So
So
you-
on your
yeah.
birthday of all
Yeah,
things.
like I mean, I got a transistor radio for my birthday. I turned it on. It was like I was sick. Actually, I couldn't go to school that day. I was in grade 6. I wanted to go because it was a hockey day, and I begged my mother to let me go play hockey, and she said, "No, you've been sick with tonsillitis for 3 weeks. Stay one more day." I said, "Okay." My grandparents came over early. They gave me a transistor radio for my birthday. I turned it on, and the first thing I heard was that JFK had been shot. And then we were glued to the TV for the total weekend.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Watched Lee Harvey Oswald get shot on Sunday morning.
Well, Kennedy was kind of like an icon in our day, or anywhere. He was one of those presidents that was everybody liked him. I mean, he was on TV and that. Like, I'm not saying that everybody in politics liked him because he barely won that election, and there was a lot of stuff going on in the background. But everybody, like us, kids and women and everybody, kind of liked the guy. He was a likable kind of character, He had
Right.
charisma, and he was a good look. And
Yeah.
so that was more traumatic than 9/11 for me. I just looked at it and said, terrorist attack. Okay, let's find out who's behind it.
Right,
That's why I
right,
was
right.
more interested in that. But it was terrible. All those people died, of course, in that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was freaking people out. Let's face
was.
it. In Manhattan, I mean, New York, the capital of the world, they believe. It was like, this can happen in New York. Like, what's going on, right?
And Gander, Newfoundland were heroes. I mean, they took in a lot of
that's
people.
what I mean. Like, there's
Canada
a lot
played a
more
big part in it.
Heroes involved too.
Huge story. It's affected so much of culture. So many people have written fiction books about the event as well. Like it's ingrained in people's DNA in that
It's
sense.
surreal to have lived through it as a I
True,
was my
true.
second week of
You're
high
right.
school.
Changed downtown. I mean, that day downtown Toronto got locked down. I was in Toronto, and all of a sudden, you couldn't get a locker at a bus terminal. You couldn't use a garbage receptacle because they had all been contained. In fact, every U.S. retail chain started to lock their doors at 2:00 in the afternoon because nobody knew what was going on.
All
fear
planes
of-
were grounded.
It was fear of the unknown at that point because you never knew. Like people thought third planes were coming in, fourth. Like no one knew.
Right.
It was just a lot of fear and chaos. And fortunately, now the memorial is absolutely beautiful and it's actually very peaceful. And to go down there and experience the giant the waterfalls where the towers used to be, it's pretty powerful to go down there and witness it live.
I mean, I went to New York in 2005 or 6, and I did go visit 9/11. And
That's when it was still
it was still something to go and see for sure.
Yeah. Now it's a site and you can tour it and get the stories. And, yeah.
I think the big thing is, as we'll take this back to the Habs, I wonder what was going on in Montreal that day, because today we know that everybody is having their physical as far as rookies go.
Yep.
So
it's the beginning of rookie camp, and yeah, it's a big day, and I hope that it's just weird to think that all these guys are so young and didn't experience like we all did a day like 9/11. But I imagine that they'll get some sort of education on it. But today's a day where, on a more positive note, our rookies are showing up, getting their medicals, they're getting evaluated to see how their summer training went, and we're off to the races.
By the way,
And
a
we'll be-
doctor's
we'll
coming
be-
in to give you your medical today.
we'll be measuring. There'll be a weigh-in on Owen Beck. We'll
didn't tell
see
me
if
this.
Owen Beck put on another 5 pounds of muscle
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Talk about
all
a guy
that type
who's-
of stuff.
He's ready to go, that kid, eh?
I believe so.
He's
Like,
he's
we,
got the
we had
jump.
a lot of kids that we're interested to see this weekend, but I mean, it's just fun to see a guy that took the time with us, and we appreciate when players do, and he's got a lot of potential. He came off that Memorial Cup win months ago, MVP. I mean, no one saw that coming.
I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
That's really big.
It's huge.
He's
Okay?
coming in with a ton of confidence here, guys.
and experience. He's gained some great experience as well as leadership, and he now knows what it's like to win.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do, is bring that culture now of winning further into the team, so that there is that expectation, that responsibility that you need to win the hockey game. Not just play a good hockey game or a great hockey game. You need to win the hockey game.
And
So
he's a
I'm-
guy who's proven that he can help them win.
I'm just going to finish off this Bill Masterson thing. But anyway, just to let everybody know that the Habs, these players have won it for the Habs. And we have the most of these trophies now that you told me about. What's his name?
Well, we
Gary
have
Price.
Gary Price. Yeah,
we have the most Stanley Cups, so
No,
we should
yeah.
have the most.
And we have the
Masterson
most
trophies,
Masterson
of course.
trophies. We were tied with the Rangers before Carey Price won, I guess.
So guess
And,
what? We have the most.
And we have the most. And Rangers are number 2, I guess, now, because Carey Price got it somewhere down the road where I missed it. That finishes that up. And back to what you were saying about Owen Beck and everything about these guys. And it was interesting what Newhook said. He said, everybody wants to come to Montreal now. He goes, he talks to players around the league. They all want to come to Montreal. Because everybody's looking to come to Montreal now because of what we got going here. So you talk about a culture and an attitude.
It's the best place to play hockey.
Right now it
it's
is.
the capital of hockey.
It's the Mecca.
And right now, with the team we got and the prospects we got, it's the place to be if you want to win a Stanley Cup. I hate to tell everybody that, the rest of the league. But,
I am happy to tell everybody that
but
it's
I'm-
the place to
but
be.
I'm going to give everybody a tip here. Right now, go and put $10 on the Montreal Canadiens at 80-1 to win the Stanley Cup, because they aren't going to stay at 80-1 by about December. You're going to be lucky to get 10-1 on them. So go make money. I'm giving you a tip to make money. Forget about Bitcoin. Buy Habcoin.
You're getting a little excited there, I think.
I'm excited. I'm excited, man.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about this year.
now, so the prospect tournament is this weekend.
Yes.
Correct.
And we have how many players?
Let's
Is
pull it up.
is it
Internet.
25?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, like I'll pull up the roster for you. But
Yeah, I think it's 25. Is it 25 in the rookie camp?
well, that's the thing. I think there might be more. They can't. Not everybody can play.
Right.
So the Leafs just announced their roster yesterday.
Yeah.
But
But
I'll get the roster for you.
how many Canadians who are in this rookie camp do you think are going to be on the Montreal hockey team when we go to play the Maple Leafs at the beginning of the NHL
Beginning of the season?
I think many
Yeah.
of them, because
Well,
you can carry 54 players or
I say
something, can't
two.
you?
I say two.
Okay.
Can't you carry like 54 players or some big number like that, and they start cutting them and getting rid of them? So
Well,
they'll be
before the
rotating.
No, but
means-
when the
he means for
NHL
opening
starts,
night,
opening night,
Opening the NHL?
how many? Yeah, how
Oh,
many of the players in rookie camp will be with the team opening night?
I'd say Lane Hudson is going to be one for sure. I think it's
He's kind of the
He's going to be
the
on the
obvious
team.
choice.
Yeah, he's going to be on the team. I think you
So
can
it's
guarantee that.
24 players, 14 forwards, 7 defensemen, 3
24.
goaltenders.
Okay.
We'll be at the rookie camp.
Is
Yeah.
Fowler one of the goalies? I guess
He is not signed yet.
Right. Okay.
He's still in Boston College.
Yeah, it's Miller. Who else is there? Miller and
Quentin Miller,
Yeah,
Matteo Drobak, and Samuel Richard.
there you go. So I think the one guy who will be playing with the Habs is going to be on the starting roster is Lane Hudson.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
That seems
he'll
to
be
be
on
a
the
pretty general consensus.
I don't
right
know.
now.
Yeah.
I
You
wonder.
don't
The
think
other
so?
question is,
I'm
which
wondering.
other-
You think it'll be Logan Mailloux, maybe?
I do.
I think
Okay,
it'll be
okay,
both.
that's fair.
I think it'll be both.
I'm thinking it will be one. I think it's going to be Mailloux. And I think you might see Hudson playing with a guy named Reinbacher together
in Montreal, though.
in Laval.
In
In
Laval. I mean, that's possible.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it could go
I mean,
either
anything
way.
is possible because, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, and injuries, circumstances determine the lineup. I mean, Kirby Dach could get another rock thrown at him. Who knows?
Yeah, and
Or
they
protect Kirby and the whole team.
well, Gooley got in a
That's
car
not fair.
accident, but he's okay. So
He's on the ice. He was on the ice
Yeah.
getting beat by Lane Hudson the other day.
yeah. Did you see that? He goes,
Yeah.
I couldn't stop him. He
He
said.
couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome to Montreal,
But
Lane
you
Hudson.
might see. There's rumors Barron could be on the move, and if that's the case, then you might see both of them. You might see Hudson and Mailloux.
Possible.
How about that?
There's
C'est possible.
there's
Because-
thoughts that. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just because Hughes isn't sitting on his hands, he's still looking for a lot of different things. So if Barron makes his way out of the lineup in a trade or something like that for a forward, then that would open the door for a guy like Mailloux and Hudson for both of them to come on up. So right now it's up in the air, and I think it has going to have a lot to do with training camp, like where we stand.
But I also think there'll be one other player, like a forward, come in as well.
Owen Beck? Is that who you're thinking?
I think it could be Owen Beck.
I think it could too. I mean, Owen Beck is probably one of the on top of the list right now to come up. He's ready.
I don't know who he replaces though. That's
The
my
guy
problem.
who is really not getting a lot of accolades is your boy, Philip Massar.
Yep.
They've been really down on him lately. They said he hasn't performed up to what they thought he would, and there's a lot of I see a lot of I don't want to call it negative because he's a good player, but just more pointing to the fact that he probably isn't going to make the team.
Not this year. No,
Yeah.
he's not ready for. He didn't
Yeah.
even make Laval last year.
Yeah,
They sent him
So,
back to junior.
yeah.
So he's not ready for the NHL this year. I'm just saying that he the expectations are low for Phil Machara
Yeah.
for some reason. I think he's going to be great on a second power play for the Canadiens. Personally, I think that's where he's going to end up in terms of the best asset he'll bring. I think he's a fantastic playmaker. So he's got a good shot too. He showed that in the World Juniors this year with Slovakia. So he's getting underestimated, and I hope that his attitude is good because, I mean, Slavkovsky is one of his good buddies, and if anyone's going to keep him in check, it's got to be your first overall pick and your fellow
Slav.
countryman. So I hope that Phil, whatever they tell him to work on and have him work on, he'll be open to getting better because I think he's still got untapped potential. I still believe in Philip Machar.
Yeah.
So-
Well, the guy that I've been hearing the most about is Beck. So if you
And
want to
I've been
just
hearing a lot
go
about
by,
Florian Jackeye too.
well, Florian, yeah,
He wants to make he said he wants to make the team. So
yeah, and we could use
whatever
him.
that we could use him. Yeah,
Yeah, we
he
could
could be
use him.
rotating with Mike Pizzetta. I think he might get a look this year. I think we have to take a commercial break. By the way,
He may replace Pizzetta at some point. You have to
I
look
think
at.
he'll get a sniff this year. I
You
think
have to
Florian
look
gets
at-
a sniff this year.
I mean, Florian played in the OHL. He hasn't really played AHL. So I think he will start in the AHL.
He played with Laval like at the
Three-
very
three
end.
games.
But yeah, he'll be comfortable in the AHL. I think he'll get a sniff with the Canadiens at some point this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be dependent who can go up and down because Barron, if we want to send him to Laval and put Owen Beck in the lineup, then of
We
course
can't send
Barron's
Barron
got to
to
go on
Laval.
waivers.
Yeah, so he's going to be rotating.
And somebody
with,
will pick him up for nothing. So
Yeah.
that's why I think Hughes would like to move him now.
We have
Or,
to take a commercial break.
traded.
Okay, commercial break. We're back. Chester's back.
I mean, as well, Heineman.
Yeah, Heineman's
Yeah,
another
Heinemann's
guy.
it's a make or break season. Well, not make or break, but like in terms of whether they're going to keep him in the organization.
Exactly.
That's
I
what I
mean,
mean.
because these
Yeah.
guys are aging.
Yeah, but he looked good last year at the rookie camp. I mean, he was the one skater and I'm at ice level watching all the kids play. And you get to see body language, you get to see facial expressions, but the way he was skating around, he looked like a pro. So Emil Heineman made an impression on me last year at rookie camp in the rookie showcase.
And he played 4 games, or he was up for 4 games last year
Yes.
in the NHL.
Yes.
So he obviously is making impressions on people as well.
So he is a curious case of, does he get a look in the lineup right out of camp?
Exactly.
So
Heineman Beck for me, and I believe Mailloux at defense.
And Mailloux looked nervous last year at the rookie. I remember being at ice level looking at this kid, and he had the look in his eyes of, holy crap, I'm in the NHL now.
Well, he's gone through a lot.
He has, but I think he really started to realize like this is not the OHL anymore. So he's not a London Knight anymore, and you could see it. And he made a lot of mistakes in that first game against Buffalo, but then he got better as the rookie showcase went on, and then he went on to have an excellent season with the Laval Rocket. He speaks French, so the fans would love that. But he's also a big, strong, skilled player, and I think you're going to see him for sure with the Canadiens this year. As for right out of camp, I don't know. There seems to be thought that there could be a rotation of Struble, Barron, Hudson, Savard, Gooley, Matheson, Jack-Eye, and there's going to be 7. There's going to be 7 defensemen staying with the Canadiens at least.
Well, this year we're only carrying.
8.
First of all, we're only carrying
That's so
2.
funny.
No, we're only carrying 2 goaltenders this year.
What a great problem to have.
that opens up a spot though.
Yeah, having a goal for a goaltender, you mean?
Well, but before we were carrying 3 goaltenders.
Yes. Oh, like a roster spot.
Exactly.
So they're going to carry 2 defensemen, I think, then. So that's how the rotate. If they're going to bring in young players like Lane Hudson and Logan Mailloux as an example, right out of camp, they can't play all 82 games. Like they're not going to want to risk injury or overexposing them.
But you want to bring them in to play hockey.
For sure. So they're going to rotate in. I think that's the plan. That's what it sounds like, according to some experts out there.
Yeah, they can't be healthy scratches. I mean, you don't want that. These guys got to play.
They need ice.
But they're going to it'll be a regular rotation.
They need ice.
A regular rotation. So.
Yeah, and I think they'll decide. They rotate them, and then whoever stands up and plays the best, they're going to keep in. I mean, that's going to be the bottom line, right? Unless somebody really stands out in training camp. If that happens, then
there's some other names
they might
here.
get the first shot.
There's some other names here about making it out of camp, and one that we haven't even mentioned is Adam Engstrom, who we signed, defenseman from last year, who had a lot of people really interested, and no one's really talking a ton about him, but we haven't seen enough of him to know, but there is a lot of buzz around him. David Reinbacher, we've mentioned.
Yes.
So those are kind of the guys that we think we're gonna be watching for all these
what
players.
What about this Tuch guy?
Luke Tuch is somebody
Luke
that
Tuch.
I was just gonna mention Luke Tuch.
I was gonna ask about him because he was being talked highly of as well.
Yeah, he came from Boston University with Lane Hudson. He was a teammate of Lane Hudson's, and Jeff Gorton really likes Luke Tuch. So I don't know what it is. I know he's a big guy. He's physical. He's not necessarily the sexiest player in terms of offense, but he's a big kid. He can hit. He can skate well. He seems to have that maturity going for him, and I'm curious to see him and Florian Jack-Eye lay some bodies out against the Leafs prospects. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, I'm looking for Jack-Eye to put the puck in the net.
Sure.
That's for sure.
What's
Hage is not playing.
Not this year, no. He's with Chicago, so he's in college.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we won't see him this year, but next year we'll see Hage and Demi-Dove, hopefully.
And hopefully we'll see.
My goodness.
We'll get to him in a minute.
And our goaltender.
And Jacob Fowler could very well sign next year as well. So you're right.
Yeah.
Just insane. You wonder why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because this is unbelievable. What a problem for any team to have. How many teams have this problem in the league?
Well, apparently a lot of teams do, Paul, because the Canadiens are ranked number 9. I don't know if you guys heard this, in top prospect pools. Number 9. They've got Ottawa at 2.
Well, the Habs are like the Rodney Dangerfield of the league. We get no respect, but that's fine.
That's
like
right.
it like that.
And that's fine with
like
me.
that.
We don't need it.
Underestimate us.
Well,
it's a show you thing, right?
Show me, don't tell me.
From Missouri.
And we're definitely
I love it.
But we're
Love
one of
it.
the youngest teams in the NHL.
That's what I do.
For sure, we're the youngest.
Right?
One of the youngest, yeah.
And
think
you know what? We're
Buffalo
one of
is-
the biggest now too. Have you seen it? We're right up there with some of the biggest teams in the league now.
When
These
you add
guys that we
6'5" Patrick Laine, that's what happens.
Not only that, we also have a TV show.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't
It
wait
looks
for that.
really
It's
good.
going to be excellent.
And there's
When's
word
it
that they're going to
start?
be September 18th. At my dad's
Okay,
birthday.
we gotta watch that.
Wednesday,
Your dad's
September the
birthday. Happy
18th.
birthday, Mister. What's your last name? Thompson. Yeah.
We can get the uke out next Wednesday.
My last name is not actually Deeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Deeks.
Yeah. Go.
What do you, wait a second. What do you mean your last name isn't Deeks?
Who are you? Like,
Do you want to pull up my license?
Are you?
here?
It's kind of like. Are you like a Dua Lipa? Her like
Yeah.
that's her name.
yeah, like he's
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was like Drew
thought his last
Deeks.
name was
What the?
Deeks.
You might see me
I'm
come home.
shocked.
You might see me come home from Montreal with a New Jersey with a name
Deeks on the back.
maybe. Now,
Come
having
on
said
now.
that,
Maybe it's
can
going to be
almost
92,
guarantee
right?
it,
It's going to be 92.
92.
No, that's going to Patrick Laine.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. You can get a
It's going to be 91.
That was Sean Monahan, but someone else wearing 91 this year. I can't.
Well, I think a guy named Demidov is going to wear 91.
Oh, is it hit? Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That is going to sell that jersey. Oh, my gosh.
Well, we talk about all these prospects and that, and what I got down here is that of all the anticipation, there's two players that everybody's waiting to see in the preseason, and that's Laine and Demidov. They're the two everybody's waiting for. Of all the prospects, Beck and
Well,
Mayu and Hudson.
Laine, to his
Laine is-
credit, is not a prospect. I mean, he is.
No, he isn't.
He's a player.
That's true.
But that's who everybody's waiting for.
We're waiting for Demidov, but he's playing.
Yeah.
He's playing in the KHL right now.
He
and-
actually got an assist, I think.
yeah, in his
He's been
first game.
playing well, from
First
what I
game.
understand.
He got benched.
Yeah, he
The other
played
day.
3 minutes in the last period.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, this is the
That's
time
fine.
to go through the hard stuff. I mean, look at what David Reinbacher went through last year in Switzerland. It wasn't a happy time for him. He went through some adversity, and guess what that builds? Perseverance and character. So it's good for you. And Demidov's playing with men. It's not junior anymore. So he's going to go through the ringer a little bit, and that's good.
He's going to get a hard time.
And that's good.
that's good.
It's going to give him those
You know?
stripes.
A kid who's been drafted fifth overall in the NHL, playing with these guys who are stuck in Russia. I mean, he's going to be getting the gears.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. And he's going to come to the NHL ready to rock.
He's jumped to a bigger league, a higher league, playing with men. So it's gonna be trials. But these trials and tribulations are what these young players go through, and it's better for him to do it there than have to deal with it on the Canadiens. So let him get that out of his system. Let him learn to play with these guys, and then when he comes over, he'll be through it all. And he'll understand that you are going to have a couple of bad games. You're not the all-star like you were in the other league. And when you get up to reality, which is the NHL, you'll be able to overcome that. And especially with the support he has on Montreal of the culture, like John said, that they're building there. Come on up, do your best, and we'll see you bloom here.
Yeah.
Right?
He'll come in next year with some professional experience.
And if there's any attitude at all, I mean that's where you get a reality check, right?
Sure.
If you got a little bit of I'm great type of thing, which is good to have confidence.
That's what they said Michkov had.
And I guess they still ride a bus over in Russia, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not getting the 5-star
Or
treatment.
or do they?
yet.
Or is it a tank? Are they in a tank or a bus?
Well, who knows on that front? I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, who knows? It could be anything.
What
over there.
about Sean Farrell? I feel like Sean Farrell has.
That's another guy we forgot about.
yeah. Like he came up and had a sniff at the
Yes.
Canadiens, and he offensively, Marie Philip Poulin was really impressed with him and Hudson last year at their rookie camp. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of Sean Farrell. I don't see him as I don't see him as a Montreal Canadian long term. I just don't see it. But I mean, it's another offensive player that we don't know what's going to become of him, and he'll prove us wrong this year, or he won't. I don't know.
That's the deal. I mean, now is your time. You have an opportunity. You have to seize the day. Carpe diem.
Carpe
Carpe
diem.
diem.
And you know what?
Seize the day.
Last year at the rookie showcase that we went to, you're in an arena with maybe 5,000 fans. You're going to be in front of a sold-out Bell Center for both of these games against the Leafs prospects, against Easton Cowan and I don't know who else with the Leafs. There was a couple names.
Match Pacioretty.
Yeah, we'll get to Patch. We should probably get into that in a second. But I mean, like, these guys are going to have
prospect.
an opportunity to get a taste. All of these kids are going to get a taste of what it's like to be a Montreal Canadian period. Because this building is going to be full for 2 rookie prospect games that in the long run don't mean a darn thing. But they mean a lot to these kids. They mean a lot to the fans. And it's time to show it.
Well, these 24 individuals get to play the golf tournament on Monday.
I don't think so, because that's reserved for the Canadians, typically.
Will they go to training camp?
They will go to training camp, and
that's where they're really going to have to make their mark
with Marty, and because right now they're going to be playing with Pascal Vincent. He's going to be running the team.
He's going
to be running the rookie camp.
Marty's going to be up in the stands with you.
Marty will be watching. I guarantee it, with Kent Hughes and me and Martin Jeff Gordon.
Exactly.
The one thing we're forgetting about too when we talk about the lineup starting regular season is we have another guy that we still have to onboard again, and that's the Sauce. That's Sauce.
He's out for 4 months.
He's injured.
Yeah, he's coming back eventually, though.
Eventually, but you see, that's what we're talking about. So, like, the guy you were just talking about before, not Heineman, but Sean Farrell, right? He has an opportunity to actually knock the Sauce right out. And any of these players do, in that sense. You see what I'm saying?
I think Heineman would be the guy.
Like, you're skating, you're on the ice, it's up to you.
Maybe I should say maybe. I'm not sold.
And Harvey Pinard is going to have a tough time getting back on that team.
I think he will.
To be honest,
you're
with you.
right. You're right, John.
Because I think still,
I agree.
Joshua Waugh is still going to have a very tough time being on this team. It's like this is not a for sure with him, and so he could easily be doing some time in Laval this year.
You could, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And
but,
there isn't.
Be like a
but
given, right?
But as everything progresses, we talked about 3 or 4 prospects that will be with the team next year that aren't with the team this year, and there are a finite number of spaces on the NHL team.
You're right, John, because if one of the players, drops 10 or 15 goals by Christmas, and, you're talking 4 months, October, November, December, January, and somebody's having a terrific first half. Like,
we have,
what are you going to do with Sauce? How are you going to bring him back in when you got a guy who's on fire?
I mean, you've got your first line. We know who the first line is.
Yeah, and we basically know
the second line. We pretty well know as well.
Yeah.
The third line is going to be veterans, no doubt about that. So
Gallagher, Armia,
Anderson. And Dvorak will have to show up somewhere there.
Yeah,
Dvorak will be third line center,
and it'll be interesting. Because I think there's great chemistry between Armia and Gallagher, so it'll be interesting. And then the fourth line, who's going to be there?
They were saying that Gallagher and Josh Anderson and Jake Evans could be your fourth line.
And is
all right-handed.
Will Owen Beck be there?
That's a good question.
You see, so
I doubt it, but I wouldn't hate it if he did, but I doubt it.
So if it's will Heineman be there? Will one of the rookies make the fourth line? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. And we're going to find out. And that just shows you how tight and congested it's going to get as we go forward in the next 5 years to getting to 2028 or 2029 when we win the Stanley Cup.
I said 29 because you guys made me pick a year. So
no, we're gonna win before that. But
before
that, we're winning. We're winning before that.
I mean, this year is great, 2024, 25. But once we get Demidov on the team, you better get prepared. Once Demidov gets on the team and he has a couple years of experience playing in the NHL. And then those next 2 years, it's time for him to fly. And that's when the team is just going to go, it's just going to go, it's going to be amazing. And I think the big surprise is going to be Laine. He is going to be the key to this team, I think. I really do. I think
he's given a lot of fans hope for the.
Do you think he
playoff
put us
push.
ahead of our rebuild schedule
Yes.
here? Okay, so
yes.
so we're probably talking 2027.
I don't think he's put us
26,
that
27.
far ahead,
Yeah.
but he's made it.
He's got to be
You
here
know what?
still.
He's made it easier for it to take place.
Yes.
Because if he produces for the next 2 years, like I think he will, and then he gets re-signed and becomes that elite forward that we need, it will be easier to negotiate, making sure we have an elite goaltender.
That's the one weak spot we have. It's just so much of a wild card with these two guys. We just don't know how they're going to perform, So
This is a big year for both of them. So.
yes,
Absolutely.
yep.
Yep.
I mean, no doubt
Jacob
about
Fowler
it.
could be coming in as soon as next season with Laval at the least, and that's the thought is that next year he's going to be.
Yeah,
What happened
and,
to
and
Dovish?
we're hoping Jacob Fowler could be an elite goalie, but we don't know. But we do know that if we get that team together in 3 years, 4 years, and it's firing, and there's one thing that we're missing, like one position, we know we can go out and get it.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Marty
And
St. Louis factor is working.
That's the key.
As far as like the Line A acquisition, like that proved, like you heard it from Line A saying how great of a coach he already believes that he is, and that's the draw to playing for this team. That's a big part of the draw. I mean, sure, you get to play in front of the greatest building in the world.
Well,
but
I think you're absolutely right.
the team spirit.
We know the problems that were going on in Toronto with their coach, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and that set that team back. I mean,
It clearly showed a divide in the locker room between the coach and the team when Sheldon Keefe had to backpedal on his criticism of his players. You don't hear Marty St. Louis backpedaling whenever he is hard on his players. You don't hear him backpedaling.
Right.
He owns it.
and
So,
I think that's
Good
that's
point.
the difference.
Good point.
that's really destroyed that personality, that culture of that team. And it takes a long time to build that back. Where the Habs are building it forward right now. And I mean, we're going to see it with the TV show, The Rebuild.
on Crave. Should we just get to Pacioretty? So, because I have to get going in shortly here. So, I'm sure fans are so excited to talk about this, and I'm sure you guys are too. About Max Pacioretty signing a professional tryout. Pacioretty, you call him?
Oh yeah, Max Pacioretty. Yeah.
He signed a professional tryout with the
Good.
Leafs, and it's expected, per his agent Alan Walsh, former agent of Max. Actually, sorry, current agent of Max Pacioretty.
Kermit Frog.
Who is going to be playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's like we beat you when you were with Vegas. We'll beat you when you're with Toronto. I loved Max when we had him, but what do you guys think? I mean,
Well, I think they're going to have the cleanest boards in the NHL. That guy skates up and down, buffing them all game. What's he do?
I liked
the guy?
Max.
I
I
don't
think we
know.
all
I
liked
don't
Max,
know.
but
You know what?
this shows that he's not over it. He's not over the
I was
trade.
so happy when they
Max,
got rid
Max
of him.
Pacioretty was a captain for the Montreal Canadiens.
and wasn't able to handle
Terrible
it.
He
Wasn't
played.
able to
He
handle
played during the season. He was very productive, but during the playoffs, he disappeared.
He Houdini'd.
He's going to fit right in Toronto then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons he knows he can start playing golf early. I think that's why he selected the Leafs.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Pacioretty, he was the guy we played the Rangers, and him and Galchenyuk, we were losing games 2-1. Price is standing on his head, playing tremendous series.
He was
and
what?
And they couldn't score. Price. He kept these guys 2-1. He lost every game. Price, but these guys couldn't score. Our two leading scorers, what do they have? 30 goals in the season. Maybe Pacioretty had 35. Galchenyuk had somewhere around 30. They're the two leading scorers on the team, and they never got one goal in the playoffs against the Rangers, and we lost every game 2-1.
Is that 2017?
That was when that's when both of them got the boot. That was enough
Yeah.
of these two clowns.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Pacioretty's at the end of his career.
he is.
I like him
Like
as a person.
when you have to go at this point and try out.
Yeah, he's done.
That's what's weird is like the announcement from Chris Johnston, from Alan Walsh, his agent, everybody that's announcing his tryout, they're saying he's going to sign. They just have to go through the technicality.
Well, they want to make.
I don't really know why.
I think
Yeah.
they want to make sure he can still skate. That's why.
But I will give Max Pacioretty credit for one thing. He brought us Nick Suzuki. That's all
Thank
I
you,
have
Max.
to say about Max Pacioretty.
and
That's the
Thomas
one-
Tatar for a while.
Well, I like Tommy Tatar. I mean,
He was on the top line for 3 years with
And-
Brendan Gallagher and Phil Deneau.
and it's the only good thing I have to say
Went to
about
the Stanley
Bergevin.
Cup.
That's the only good thing I have to say about Bergevin too. He did the deal. Other than that,
Yeah, even though he wasn't, he wanted what's his
Yeah.
name from Vegas instead of Suzuki. His name escapes me. You guys will let us know as you always do. But the point is,
Marchessault. Yeah.
no, it wasn't March. So no, but they acquired Nick Suzuki in that deal. He
Yep.
was the piece that was making that deal go through. I remember I was in New York City, just about to go live with Kelly and Ryan because I got on the show, which is another story.
It's Kelly and Ryan.
Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah, Regis and Kelly.
Regis and Kelly.
Yeah, Ryan Seacrest.
Kelly and Ryan,
You're
Regis
going on
and
the
Kelly.
show?
Wait,
I went on the show.
What for?
I was the trivia dancer.
no.
That's a true story.
What is it?
I'm not joking. I'll show you
No.
guys.
You
The
were
video.
doing what?
I was in New York City live
To
with
Dua
Kelly and Ryan.
Lipa?
Yeah,
But what are you doing there?
I was dancing.
What do you mean dancing?
I'll show you the clip later.
What kind of dancing?
I'll show you. You
Like
don't. I'll
break dancing?
Michael Jackson
You do.
and the floss dance, which I couldn't do, by the way.
Beat it.
Yeah, I got made fun of.
Beat it.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Wow.
All right. So I got the notification at like 3 a.m. because that's when the trade went down.
So how'd you get on the show? I was thought,
You still want to know, don't you?
Well, but how did you?
I had to audition with other people.
Yeah?
Before the show started, yeah. And the audience cheered the loudest for me.
I wondered why you had a bird costume.
Yeah, I got a lot of costumes at home.
Oh,
I have
wow.
a beat.
Not that I need to know that.
I have a beat it
Not,
jacket.
and not that there's anything wrong with that.
That.
I'm a happily married man. Thank you very much. But I have a beat it.
And there's nothing
jacket.
wrong with that either.
It's in the Bible, so no, there's nothing wrong with it. Anyways, so expect the unexpected, like Kent Hughes when I come in. Okay.
Yeah. This is interesting.
So, anyways, to end this little
this is
story,
another whole show for me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, that was neat. You went to Kelly Regis, but see, look at
Yeah.
this. This is what I like right here.
I know.
But you
why
know
we're
what?
here. But that trade was. It's
So
still.
that's where you were when you hear about that trade.
We were in Manhattan, yes, and
Wow.
we got the notification early in the morning that Nick Suzuki and Thomas Tatar and another draft pick was coming to the Canadiens for Max Pacioretty. I mean, think about this now. 2024, that trade went down in 2018, 5 years ago. What a difference 5 years make. All of a sudden.
5 years.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup.
5 years Stanley Cup. And now Max Patty's on a professional tryout with the Leafs 5 years later. It's bizarre.
And he'll
What a
be
return.
and he'll be playing golf in
Yeah, in April. And you know what I like? I like Thomas Tatar,
Not so
though.
bad.
I didn't mind Tatar. He's a solid 20 goal scorer
we
every
got
year.
lots of production out of him.
Yeah.
Not in the playoffs. We did not get production of Tatar in the playoffs. That was a mystery with him. And that was with Vegas. That was with the Canadiens. Not with Detroit. He played very well in Detroit. I don't know what his playoff production was.
Yeah,
like,
but
regardless, we
got
got
Suzuki.
way more of a return for Max Pacioretty than
got a
anybody else, including Vegas.
we got a franchise player.
We got a franchise player who's now our captain.
How can you beat that?
Who is
captain for
handling
a
it-
captain.
Who's
Captain
handling
for a
it very,
captain.
very well, by the way.
Yeah, so what the heck? I mean, thank you.
Thank you,
Those are
thank
the
you.
best mate.
Captain
That's what I
for
like
a
about
Anything else before I
Captain.
take off?
Max Pacioretty. Well, we're going to end the show when you go because the camera's going and everything, right? We got the
Yeah,
show's over.
I think we've
Okay.
covered pretty well
let's just
everything,
do
right?
I'm just
the
making sure
the
there's nothing
three
else not covered.
stars.
3 stars. Troisième d'étoile de la semaine dernière.
Yes, the troisième étoile de la semaine dernière.
All right.
Okay.
It's an
Have
exciting
you got
time
your
of
stars there?
No, I
Johnny
don't
boy?
actually. So you go ahead.
Okay. Well, here's my 3 stars of the week. Number 1, us. we are first star, the pundits, because you know why?
The pundits.
We are the guys that are keeping it interesting for Le Habitant in the news, even though there's not a lot going on. We are the guys who drive the summer, right? We're
You guys
the
kept
boys
going
of
all summer, so cheers to you. For
like
that.
all of us. All of us. No, you were there a lot too. And, you know, it's the guys like us that keep the Habs legends alive and keep everything about the Habs alive through the summer when, you know, people are thinking of other things. We're still here kicking it with the Habs, and we want to get you guys into it. So I think we should give ourselves a pat on the back for this. Number 2,
I'm not going to say number 1, but
Hughes and staff. for continuing to look for that great deal that can help the Habs. And they never close their eyes. They're always out there, and you might not hear a lot this time of year, but they're there working for us. The Habs fans, they want to put together a championship team, and you got to give them credit for that all the time. And number 3, the third star here is really a conglomeration of stars. It's George Laraque, Wi-Fi, Gouli, Newhook, Barron, and Yuppie playing ball hockey with kids at Henry Barraza School. The players were really happy to be there. They were joking around with the kids. The kids were over the top thrilled to see their hockey heroes interacting with them. And this is what community is all about. And when you're involved with the community and the team, it makes for that culture that John always talks about. They're my 3 stars.
Nothing like being at Henri Bourassa.
I don't even know where that is or what it is. But I tell you one thing. I love it that they were there.
There's wisdom in this little dome right here that
He's
we
going
have
to tell us
not
something.
even
I don't
tapped
even,
into.
I think he was the leader of the FLQ or something, wasn't that guy?
Mais non, mon ami.
Oh, okay. He was
But
the Party Quebec.
I think the organization definitely deserves a star
yes
for hosting this tournament this weekend of prospects.
Can't wait.
So it's being hosted in Montreal. They've decided to break away from the Buffalo tournament,
Which makes so much more sense.
and now here they are playing against their arch rivals. And so I think it's a win-win for everyone. And we'll see if that tournament exists next year, just up the street.
Just up the street, you mean the Toronto?
Toronto.
Yes,
They're going to figure it out. Well, they don't have as many prospects to showcase, so I don't know if they're going to pull it off. But yeah, I'm going to go with the 3 stars quick just because I got a jet.
Go ahead, go.
My first star will be Johnny Gaudreau. They just had his service the other day. And beautiful, sad, Johnny and Matthew, I should say. But you guys talked about it last week on last week's show.
Yep.
And you frankly, you both did a beautiful job. I listened to that whole show
No,
live.
thanks a lot.
And
It was heartfelt.
It really was. It came from the heart, and that's why I love doing the show with you two. But I learned more about Tim Horton and the players that passed away when you guys were young watching hockey, and the unfortunate reality of drunk driving. And now it rears its ugly head again, and it's just. But Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, Meredith, his wife, gave a beautiful eulogy. The players, it's going to be a tough year for players. To go through it. But Cole Caulfield will be my second star, wearing number 13 for Johnny Gaudreau. Seeing him don it the first day on the ice the other day is special. And third star goes to the Canadiens as an organization for, again, putting on this rookie showcase that fans that normally can't afford to go to spend $100 a ticket or more to see the Canadiens are now going to get great seats to see the Canadiens.
They even get to go into the Bell Center
It's
have
full.
that experience.
Yes, and it's full.
It's the
the
experience
rookies.
of going into a building like that to see a game of players that could easily play in the NHL. The caliber should be excellent.
I can't wait to watch Lane Hudson dance around Easton Cowan. It's going to be a blast.
Well, you said a mouthful there, John, because as much as we are from the 60s, 70s, 80s Habs, and Drew is from the 80s, 90s, 2000 Habs,
And
the
2010.
kids that are going to be going in there right now are from now Habs. And these guys that they're going to be watching on the ice are the guys they're going to be cheering on in another 5 years when we win the Stanley Cup.
They're
What a thrill for them.
Yeah, they're the 10, 12, 14-year-olds that go to school every day and are going, man, how come these Habs showed up at Henri Bourassa School in Laticall? Well, how come they didn't come to mine, And they're the ones who are going to be thinking every day that they can't wait to get home and turn on the TV and watch Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield and Slavkovsky put the puck in the net.
And think about this, John. You put it in
And
perspective.
Davidoff next year.
Put it in perspective. Imagine if we were kids, 7 or 8 years old, and we were going to the Montreal Forum in 1948 or 49 or 50, and we were watching Maurice Richard, Henry Richard, Toe Blake, Elmer Locke, all the greats of our...
Boom, Jeffrey on.
We would have been over the top.
Absolutely.
And that's what these kids are right now. So this is fantastic. This is really, really good.
For sure.
Best time of the year.
So we got another month, basically, to October 9th when we start the regular season against the Leafs, and then we play Boston the next night.
Max
Leafs
Pacioretty
in Boston.
playing against the Canadiens on opening night at the Bell Center is going to be weird, but cool.
Our two biggest
Well,
foes.
I also think it's if he makes the team.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay,
true. That's
if he makes
true.
the team, number one.
Imagine that.
And when Pacioretty plays for the Leafs, what line will he be on? I don't think he's going to be on the first line.
Third.
What I'm
or
looking
fourth
for
where he's
is
gonna
a guy named Austin Matthews playing against a guy named Patrick
Liney.
Laine.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That's what I'm looking for.
No one's going to be more
Opening
revved up
night.
than Laine.
Opening night. Everybody's going to be glued to their TV.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Okay, you guys, we're out of here. Drew's got to go. We got to go. My name is Paul Calamere. This is Habsolutely coming to you live. My co-host John Fillion's over there.
Bonne chance, l'équipe de Canadiens.
Yes.
Good luck this weekend.
We're
luck
going
this
to miss
weekend.
you.
Let's go for it. Let's
And
hope,
of course-
let's hope you have a great and a safe weekend, Drew.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see all the interviews that you bring back from all the Habs.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
You should have a great opportunity, and I wish you all the best.
No pressure.
And thank you for coming into the studio as always. It's always great to have a superstar, YouTube superstar
I'm just a regular
in
guy.
our midst,
Just a
doing
regular
his thing.
No,
like
you're
we're
not. You
doing our-
have a Hollywood name. I didn't know that till today.
Yeah, me neither.
Well,
Yeah, he's
so much
a
for the low
dancer.
profile.
He's a tiny dancer.
You know.
He's
You're
a-
you're kind of like Elton
He's a
John.
tiny-
Hey, Elton
yeah.
John changed his name, right?
Yeah, he's a tiny
Drew
dancer.
Deeks. Yeah, okay.
There you go. We'll see you later. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Give us your comments. Like it, don't like it. It doesn't matter. We don't care. If you put comments on, we always reply.
The
And-
comments were amazing this past week.
yes,
Fabulous. Thanks so
Fabulous.
much.
we love it. We love it. And thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
See you later. We're out of
Ciao,
here. Ciao, ciao.